Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or a comment. All right. This is not another installment of the Dr. Spell Prognosis. This is actually a character build. I've been thinking about this for a little while, and I kind of wanted to go through the steps and the creation process a little bit. I've created this character to 12th level, but I want to go through the progression from 1st to 12th level for this character. If you can think of anything that might be advantageous to add to this character or change, leave them down in the comments, and I can go through and think about anything that anybody might want to change or add, or any thoughts that anybody has. So this, I call this the Vengeance Master. It is a Fighter Paladin build, so I'm taking, it's mainly a Paladin, but we're taking elements of Fighter along with it. So I'm in D&D Beyond right now, and I've just called this a Fighter Paladin at this point. I have a little picture that I made, and I made it in Leonardo AI, that I've put on here. Some of the pictures I've made are on the thumbnail for this, so you can see those there. And we're not really going to use any homebrew content or critical role content, Dragonlance or Eberron content. We're just using some of the basic things. I did check the optional class features and the customize your origin. But for the rest of it, we're using pretty standard stuff. So we are going to be we're going to be a human, and we're going to be a variant human. So I am trying to stick mainly with the kind of Adventure League legal type of things. So I don't really want to stray into the custom lineage stuff too much. But I did want to get a free feed at first level, but I didn't. I wanted to do it without using custom lineage. So we're going to go ahead and go with human. And we're going to go ahead and go with a human that gets the free feat. So as our language that we took Dwarvish. We took Strength and Charisma, so we get a +1 in each one of those. Strength and Charisma are both important for Paladin, and so we want to, and Strength obviously is important for Fighter, so we wanted to go with that. The skill that we took is Perception. Can always use Perception. This is going to be okay Wisdom, so it'll be a decent one. And then for the feat, we took Polearm Master. We're going to be going with fighting with a halberd. So for ability scores, we use the 27 point buy method, and we took a 15 in strength, a 10 in dex. We're going to be in plate armor, so we're not going to really need dex for a lot of that. This is going to be kind of a big, beefy character. We took a 14 in Constitution. Our dump stat is Intelligence, so we took an 8 in Intelligence. I don't foresee this character having to do many things that have to do with Intelligence. That's for other characters in the group. We took a 10 in Wisdom, and we took a 14 in Charisma, since a lot of the Paladins things are based off of Charisma. So right now, I want you to kind of ignore that it says a strength of 20, because that's set for a 12th level character. But with the human at first level, we got a +1 in strength. That would give us a 16 strength. And we got a +1 in charisma, and that would give us a 15 charisma, which is what we've got right now. When we're all said and done at the end, we'll have a 20 strength, a 10 dexterity, a 14 con, an 8 intelligence, a 10 wisdom, and a 15 charisma. All right. So for classes, we are taking, for first level, we're taking Fighter. And what we're going to take it, what we get at first level is we get a hit points, proficiencies. For proficiency, we took athletics and intimidation, because we do have a pretty high charisma. So we can take advantage of intimidation. And for our fighting style, we're taking great weapon fighting, because a halberd is a two-handed great weapon, a heavy weapon. And so we're using two hands, so when you roll a 1 or a 2 on a damage die, for an attack with a melee weapon you're wielding with 2 hands, you can re-roll that die. So we want to re-roll that because we want to try and maximize the damage as much as possible. We also get Second Wind. At second level, we are taking Fighter, and we're going to get the Action Surge, which gives us an extra action. That's important for maximizing damage. Then for our third level, we are going to take a level in Fighter again, and we're going to take the Martial Archetype Battle Master. In addition to that, we get this Combat Superiority, which gives us maneuvers and superiority dice. We get 4 superiority dice that are D8s at this point. And then we get Student of War. So we get a free proficiency in tools. So we took Smith's tools because that kind of makes sense for this character. And then for our maneuvers, we took 3 different maneuvers, which we get with Battle Master. We took Trip Attack because we would want to make things prone, because it's easier to attack things that are prone, because when they're prone, we get advantage. Trip Attack, not always the best thing, so we could trip larger or smaller, and it's a strength saving throw. That is not always going to happen, but it could. We're also going to take Menacing Attack, so when we hit a creature with this, we can expend a superiority die. We add the die to our damage, and they got to make a Wisdom saving throw, or they're frightened of us. If they're frightened of us, we have advantage on them. You can see with kind of where this is going. And then we also took Distracting Strike. So when we hit a creature, we expend a superiority die, and we give our allies an opening. We add it to the damage, and the next attack roll against the target by an attacker other than you has advantage if the attack is made before the start of your next turn. So that kind of gives our compatriots some part of the battle mastery kind of leaders type stuff. It gives them a bonus. At 4th level, we are finally going to take our first level in Paladin. So we get hit points, proficiencies. We get Divine Sense, so we can sense evil. We get Lay on Hands. We get additional Paladin spells. No, we don't get any. So just at 5th level, we get up to the Lay on Hands. At 4th level. At our 5th level character, we're going to take another level in Paladin. So this is 2nd level of Paladin. And we're going to get a fighting style. So we're taking Blessed Warrior, which is going to give us 2 cantrips. Now, there's some controversy behind this. I know that there's this sentence that says you can't take a fighting style option more than once, even if you later get to choose again. D&D Beyond lets us do this because I think it's 2 different classes, so I think it is legal. But, weigh in on that. We also get the spell casting, so we're going to get some spells, and I'll go through the spells that we took. And we get Divine Smite, which is really important. So we get that. We can expend spell slots to do extra damage. So it's 2d8 for a first level, and then 1d8 for each additional one, to a maximum of 5d8, and then if it's undead or fiends, we add an extra d8. At 6th level of the character, we're going to take another level of Paladin, which gets us to a 3rd level Paladin, which gets us to harness Divine Power, so we can channel Divinity. So as a bonus action, we can do that. We can do this a number of times per day, based on the level. So we can do it twice at 7th level. And we get the expended use after we finish a long rest. We get it 3 times at 15th level, but this is not a 15th level Paladin. So we will not get to 7th level Paladin, I don't believe. We're 8th, so we will get to that. All right, so we also get Divine Health, which gives us immunity to disease, and then we get our Sacred Oath, and we're taking Oath of Vengeance, which is pretty important. So we get some oath spells that we get to add to the spells that we know, and then we get some Channel Divinity options as well that are tied to our Sacred Oath, which is Oath of Vengeance. And we'll go through that when we get to the character sheet itself. There's our channel divinity. So we get Abjure Enemy. So as an action, we can present our holy symbol, speak a prayer of denunciation, and we choose one creature within 60 feet we can see. They have to make a wisdom saving throw, or they're frightened. Unless they're immune to frightened, fiends and undead have disadvantage on this saving throw, so he's really good against fiends and undead. And on a failed saving throw, they're frightened for 1 minute or until it takes any damage. This is kind of like the turn undead type thing. We also get Vow of Enmity. As a bonus action, you can utter a Vow of Enmity against a creature you can see within 10 feet. You gain advantage on attack rolls against the creature for 1 minute until it drops to 0. Now, one of the reasons why we're taking this is we want this, and with the Battle Master, we can prone it too with a trip attack. So we can make it, we can make it frightened of us, and we can make it prone as well. With this Vow of Enmity is frightened. We get our Oath spells, which for us are Bane and Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark is a big one because we can add damage now to I think that's an attack. We'll have to look at that. And we get Whole Person and Misty Step as well. So at 7th level, we are going to take another level of Paladin, and we're gonna get martial versatility. I just turned that on. I don't think we're gonna worry about that right now. But that essentially allows us, when we reach a level in this class that grants an ability score, you can replace a fighting style, which we didn't do. And then we took increases in our strength. So that moves our strength to 18 at this point. Then at our 8th level of our class, we took a level in Fighter, which gets us to a 4th level Fighter, which also is martial versatility, but more importantly, gets us an ability score feat, and as our feat, we took Great Weapon Master, which we can take a penalty to our attack roll, and we get a plus 10 to damage. So we're starting to stack up that damage and stack up the ability to have advantage on attack rolls, which makes this even more important. In additionally, on a turn when we score a critical hit and reduce a creature to 0 hit points, we can make 1 melee attack as a bonus. We're wielding a halberd, so we have reach, which is great. At 9th level, we are taking another level in Paladin, which will get us extra attack. So we're not actually, there will be a 5th level Paladin. We're not actually going to get our extra attack until 9th level, which kind of stinks because we need to get all the rest of this stuff. But, it still works out. And then at 10th level, we're taking another level of Paladin, which make us 6th, and we're getting Aura of Protection. So we give a Charisma modifier bonus to people's saving throws within 10 feet of us. At 11th level, we're taking a level of Paladin. We get Relentless Avenger. So by 7th level, your supernatural bonus helps you close off a foe's retreat. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, you can move up to half your speed immediately after attack as a part of the same reaction. And it doesn't provoke attack of opportunities. That's pretty good. And then at 12th level of the character, we're going to take our final level in Paladin. So we'll be a 12th level character, 8th level Paladin. And we're going to take Strength, which this will move our Strength up to a 20. Now, that's how we get to our ability scores. I really didn't take a choice for... I took a choice for that. We're taking Soldier. We want animal handling in case we get we buy a steed or we want to get a guard dog or something. And then I took Persuasion as well because we've got a decent charisma. So that's kind of he can kind of be a face in the party. For equipment... So because this is a 12th level character, we're going to expect to have some advanced equipment. So we are going to have +2 plate mail, a +2 halberd. So this is a reach, heavy, two-handed weapon. So heavy works with Great Weapon Master, and two-handed works with Polearm Master. So if something comes within our reach, we get an attack. And we can use that attack with Great Weapon Master or any attack. We're going to get 2 attacks around to do an extra 10 damage. I also took a Ring of Fire Resistance, a Ring of Protection, and a Cloak of Protection. So we want to. This character's not going to have a shield, but we kind of wanted to maximize um, their armor class as best as we could. So one of the other things that I do want to touch on are spells. So we get 10 spells that are prepared, and really a better way to look at this is to look at the character sheet. So here we're looking at the character sheet, and if we look at spells, we're getting 4 first level slots and 3 second level slots at this level of Paladin. And then we have 2 cantrips from our Blessed Warrior. So we've got Guidance and Spare the Dying. We get Bane automatically and Hunter's Mark automatically as a Vengeance Paladin. Bane is a great spell, don't get me wrong, but I won't probably be casting that very much because we'll be casting some of these concentration spells to be able to give ourselves extra damage when we need it. So things like Wrathful Smite. So Wrathful Smite is it's a bonus action, it's concentration, but it only does damage once, and they have to make a Wisdom saving throw or they're frightened because we want to keep getting in that advantage. Of course, Hunter's Mark. So whenever we hit with a weapon attack, we do a d6 of damage. Whenever we hit. So that's really important to have up as much as possible. Unless we want to put up one of these other... Now, this is a bonus action as well. So whenever we don't have one of these other spells up, we can always put this one up. We have Shield of Faith as a spell. That gives us a +2 for the duration. So if we have any one of these up, we can't have any of the other ones up, unfortunately, because they're all concentration. I took Divine Favor, so we can get a D4 if we ever need it. Wrathful, so we got Thunder Smite, does an extra 2d6 damage. Strength saving throw, they're pushed and they're knocked prone. Wrathful Smite does an extra d6 if they're frightened. We can cast Bane as an upcast if we want, and that'll affect other targets. I took Branding Smite as kind of a panic button just in case we get an invisible creature or a creature that can turn invisible, and this will stop it from doing that. Of course, we want Fine Steed because this gives you a warhorse or an elk or something like that you can ride, so you get a better movement speed. Whole Person we get automatically. That one we may or may not use. The saving throw at 12th level is not great. It's a 14. We can cast at Hunter's Mark at a higher level, and then we get Misty Step automatically as well. So that's just kind of a rundown of the spells. So the whole point of this character is to come in, is to be able to strike twice at reach against a target, and then start whipping out the Divine Smites, maybe have a Hunter's Mark on them, and then in addition combine that with Great Weapon Master. Now, we can take Action Surge as well, which will give us another 2 attacks. We've got Battle Master, so we've got Combat Superiority, and we've got 4 of those dice. Those dice can get added in as well, particularly for things like Menacing Attack, which will be great because it'll be frightening. So if we use Menacing Attack, then that will alleviate us having to use, say, Wrathful Smite, or something that's going to make them fearful. We've got Second Wind, of course. We can try and trip them. This is not going to be easy to do, but we could. It's a DC 17, which is a pretty decent DC for that. This one is better and most likely will cause things to fail with the Wisdom saving throw of 17. We've got our Divine Sense 3 times per day. We've got our Lay Hands for 40 hit points, which is really good. We've got Spellcasting and Blessed Warrior. We've got Divine Smite. We've got plenty. We've got 7 spell slots for Divine Smite. We probably will only be ever casting 1 spell like Hunter's Mark per combat. We've got our Harness Divine Power, so as a bonus action, textual symbol, utter a prayer, and regain 1 expended spell slot. That's nice. We can do that twice. Divine Health, Sacred Oath. This is per short rest. So, and we get the Vow of Enmity per short rest. That's really good. And extra attack or protection, Relentless Avenger, which is good for moving around the battlefield. We don't really get a lot from other than Polearm Master. So Polearm Master, it didn't show what we got. Oh, here it is right here. So Great Weapon Master, the one we want out of this is getting the +10. Polearm Master, the one we want out of this is either the bonus action, do an extra attack for a D4 damage, plus we could put Divine Smite on top of that, plus if we're Hunter's Marking, then we can add the Hunter's Mark damage on top of that too, which is great. So so this all in all works out pretty good. The character's got a +11 to hit at this level. And if you have advantage, on average with a D20, you're probably going to be rolling between a 13 or a 15 to hit. And if we're taking a -5, then we're talking about anywhere from a 19 to a 21 to hit, which will hit almost everything no matter what. So you can just free will Great Weapon Master all the time. Which is awesome. And we're going to have so many different opportunities to have advantage because of all the abilities we have. And we're going to be adding, so this does a D10 +7 damage. We reroll 1s or 2s because we're a Great Weapon Master. And on top of that, we're going to have probably Hunter's Markup, so it'll be a D10 plus a D6. We can load up a 2D8 from Divine Smites. And we can also load up a superiority die. We don't have to spend the superiority die until we know what we got to hit. So, well, I think that, let me take that back. I think with superiority maneuvers, so when you hit with it, yeah, so we have to expend, so when you hit, you can expend a superiority. So we can look at that die, and we can look at it, and we can say if we want to expend one or not. If we expend one and it's a crit, it's doubled. So let's say we hit a crit on something. The only thing that's kind of missing from this is if I took an elf and we took Elven Accuracy, and that would give us a crit on a 19 or 20, or I mean, it would give us 3 dice for a crit. Or if we were an elf and there might have been some Hexblade thrown in here, then you would crit on a 19 or 20. But I like this build the way it is, and we're looking at probably using Great Weapon Master every single time. We're going to do a D10 for the weapon. We're going to do a D6 for Hunter's Mark. We're going to do a D8 for a superiority die. And then we're going to be doing 2D8 for at a minimum, for a Divine Smite. So +17 damage. And all of those get doubled if it's a crit. So you can see, and then we can just attack again. And essentially, if we want, do that all again. And so a Nova round for this is pretty awesome. It's pretty scary. So I mean, in general, that's the character. I think this character works out quite a bit. If you have any questions or comments, leave them at the bottom, and I will get to them. And I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.